Welcome, everyone. My name is Tyson McGuffin, and welcome to the McGuffin Show. This is our second episode here. We just posted our first episode yesterday, so make sure you guys check that out. You can check that out on my Instagram page at Tyson McGuffin or on my camp page at Tyson McGuffin Signature PB Camps, or also too on Facebook. You can find the podcast on those two landing pages. Mr. McKenzie, how are you, buddy?
Doing good, man. How are things?
You know what? It's pretty snowy here in Coeur d'Alene. I'm not going to lie. I woke up and I think it snowed like 1.5 feet. So looks like indoor pickleball from now on in the PNW.
Yeah, I think it's that time of year.
That time of year. But yeah, we're actually on a little snow belt out here north of Coeur d'Alene, so it snows quite a bit more. But,
yeah, 1.5 feet. I didn't realize that. So we had snow as well. So just over here in Spokane, we're about an hour away. I think we got about 6 inches. Woke up this morning. My kids were ecstatic. They got all their snow stuff on. And even before school, they had like 20 minutes. They've already built a snowman. So
it's like Christmas,
that first snow of the year is always an exciting time for them. So
yeah, no, for sure. And so your kiddos are back in school, correct?
They are, yeah. So we had the option of doing at home or in person. You know, with coronavirus, we weren't sure what we'd do. So we decided to give it a shot in school and just figured, like, if it didn't go well, we could always pull them out and do the online learning. But so far it's been going okay. So we have 4 kids, and three of them are in elementary school now.
Okay. And if you don't mind telling the viewers, how old are those kiddos?
Oh gosh, okay. So 2 boys, 2 girls. Ages are 8, 7, 6, and 5. So
I got
still
busy.
Don't know what we did to cause all those kids, but maybe we'll figure it out one day.
Hey, figure it out, all right? Okay. You guys are done now, correct?
We are done. Yes, we've been done for a couple of years, so we've definitely have our hands full. I don't know if we can handle anymore.
That's too funny. Yeah. So you obviously have 4. We have 3. And obviously we just had a baby girl. She's 11 weeks now, but yeah, we're actually going to shoot for 1 more and then probably call it quits. So
yeah, 4 is a good number. 4 is a good number.
Yeah, 4 is a pretty good number. Ours is a little
we've
different.
Got some kids around the same age. My youngest boy is about the same age as Ty, your son. So
yeah, and they're like 2 peas in a pot,
upcoming
man.
Pickleball players.
Oh yeah, both very competitive dudes, just like Dad.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, no, there's so much of my son there's so much of myself that's in my son. You know, whether it's being competitive or trying to change the rules as they're playing board games or as they're on the court playing a pickleball game. He's always trying to modify the score so he can somehow win. I remember growing up, like I used to play cards, you know, with my grandparents and stuff, and I would like hide cards under the table, put some like in my pocket, and then pull them out whenever I needed them. I was bad, and my son, always looking for that edge. Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny
too because same thing. So I have 2 boys. The one that I was talking about, my younger one, is just like a mini me. He's exactly like me, super competitive, into sports. You know, just has that grit, always looking for a way to win. And then my other son's like totally like opposite of me. And it's funny because even the ones that are just like you love, but at the same time, you're like, at least for me, like concerned about, because I know all the elements or ways of myself where, you know, that competitive spirit can go awry. And then my son that I don't have as much in common with, in a way, like I love all the things that he's great at that I never was too. So it's a lot of fun having kids, and you know, you never know what personalities they're going to have.
No, that's so true. I mean, out of my 6 siblings, we're all very different in our own ways. And no, that's what's unique about having kids, right? You know, they kind of take little slice of mom or take a little slice of dad and kind of mold themselves into their own people. So yeah. So talking about being competitive. So my oldest, Sky, who's special needs, right? I think I told you this story, but we ended up like waking up one morning. Usually Sky's up by like 4 a.m. He doesn't sleep all that well, so he kind of fights his sleep all night. But we ended up like waking up. Meg got like a notification on her phone, and her phone said that like $700 was taken out of her account. Right. And so we're like, what in the hell is going on here? And so as she's looking through her account, she's looking at her bank statement, and this is like 6 a.m. Come to find out, Sky was playing Warcraft, and he wanted like select advantages as he was playing. Obviously, with him being special needs, he has a hard time playing that game. So he bought added features and added advantages. And so, I had to have that little discussion with him and tell him, hey, it's good to be competitive, but you can't spend mommy and daddy's money.
Oh, hashtag parent problems right there.
My gosh.
The $700 upgrade. That's right.
Yeah, it is never a dull moment with that man. Okay, real quick, thanking our sponsors this week: Selkirk Sport, best paddle manufacturer in the business. Voodoo Pain Relief Cream. If you guys are looking for some pain relief cream to take the aches and pains away, definitely check out Voodoo Pain Relief Cream. Beamer Therapy. It's a great recovery medical device that I've been using for a couple of years. 1044 Pro, Life Like a Pro. If you guys are looking for a great bar that tastes like a cookie that just came out of the oven, definitely check out those 1044 Pro bars. Jolt Therapy, looking for a massage gun, great company. ASEA, that is my health and wellness sponsor. So I use their full line of supplements, drink their cell replacement water. And then use some of the face wash stuff. Turn a Pickleball, best overgrip in the game. Pickle Play, best app in the game. Make sure you guys go to pickleplay.com and definitely check it out. Salt Stick, I use Salt Stick for their electrolytes. Love those chewable electrolytes. Stance socks, best socks in the game. I want to give a little shout out to Steve Bates. I just got my box of Stance socks yesterday, so thanks, brother. And then Vitamin Drip CDA. Vitamin Drip CDA is based here in Coeur d'Alene. So I want to thank all of our sponsors. So topics of the week. We're going to be chatting about the APP versus the PPA. We are going to talk about 2021 tournament schedule, both PPA, APP, and then I guess non-tour organization tournaments. Also too, I don't know if you guys know this, but I have a fun social media giveaway going on. It's been going on for the last 2 weeks now, or I guess week and a half. And the big drawing is going to be Monday, November 16th. So I'll tell you about that later on in the episode. Also too, each week we're going to kind of tackle about 10 minutes of anything instructional related. We're going to call it like the nugget of the week, but it can be technical based, it can be tactical based, it could be court positioning stuff. It could be an example that we've seen in a pro match, or maybe it was a little video segment that was on the forum or something like that. So we'll kind of cover a little 10-minute instructional window, and then also too, we're gonna chat about we have some camps coming up in 2021 at Chicken and Pickle locations. So kind of cool. I just talked with the Chicken and Pickle guy last week, and kind of got stuff finalized for 2021. So great venue to run a camp, that's for sure. Sweet.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've never played any of the tournaments there, but I've always watched the live stream. Just sounds like a really cool business idea. So I'm excited to get to do some teaching there.
Yeah, and that whole idea totally sells. It's like an adult playground, right? You can drink, you can have fun, drop your kids off. Adults can play pickleball. They have like outdoor battleship and ping pong and indoor-outdoor courts, and I mean it's sweet. I'm
not leaving. I mean, if we're teaching there, I'm
not leaving, baby.
Just make a day of it.
Yes, Callie, you can take all 4 kids. I'm going to be gone.
I'm all set. I'm good.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, wanted to bring up. I just got a fitness mirror, and I've been doing these little 45-minute workouts. Kind of cool. I don't know if any of the viewers out there have a fitness mirror, but super accessible, hanging up on the wall. You can do live trainings. There's like group trainings. You can do private lesson classes, or you can take private lessons. There's anything from like Tai Chi to Pilates to competitive training, functional training. So kind of cool. I've been doing that like 4 or 5 days a week. And, I mean, it's just nice to like, not to be able to go to the gym and to to have it just from home. I'm kind of a guy too that I kind of need a little kick in the ass to kind of get going. I probably should be more disciplined when it comes to working out, but it's much easier for me when I have a little tap on the ass and I have somebody kind of pushing me.
Well, I think when you have a busy schedule too, there's something to be said for being able to do it in your own home and not have to, get up, go to the gym. It's being able to just have it right there staring you in the face.
No, it's nice for sure. Right. And
so how does it work? I'm not super familiar. Are all the programs like loaded on?
They're all correct. There's a shit ton of content on there. So all the programs are loaded on there. You can do live programs with people. If you like Meg, for example, loves to compete. Anytime she works out, she either wants to kick my ass or she wants to work out in a setting where she can look at people and feel like she's trying to be competitive.
Right.
So for her, doing these group classes where she can it's kind of silly, but she can see other people working out, gives you a little added momentum, things of that nature. Does it give you a ranking compared to your group like CrossFit kind of does? Or so not for the mirror, but we just ordered a fitness bike, and yes, on the fitness bike you can track how far you went based off of your time, and then there's standings and stuff like that, and you can kind of compete against other people. So we have a guy kind of working on a home gym in our garage. We just cleaned out a little side of our garage, ordered a bunch of equipment, and he's building a wall and putting in some insulation and making that a cool little home gym. So it's going to be staring me in the face every single day, telling me, Tyson, get your ass out there. Ben is working out, so get after it.
You gotta get Ben programmed. I'm just
gonna throw his face on the wall.
There you go.
And Ben, do know there is lots of love around here, so I'm not saying that in a negative way at all.
No, everybody needs to find some motivation. Competitive rivalry, love it.
Let's see what else is going on.
We want to talk about so you and I, we've done some training this week. Do we want to talk a little bit about what we've been working on?
Been getting after it for the last couple of weeks. Yeah, if you want to.
So I think for Tyson, just kind of give you guys a little bit of an insight. When we're going out and we're training, to some degree, if we're close to a tournament, we'll go out and we'll play some games. But most of what we do is more wrapped around competitive drilling. So we're both pro level players and we're pro level instructors. So it's kind of a fun dynamic. We're always kind of picking each other's brains, almost like each coaching each other to some degree for what we're seeing and trying to come up with creative drills. So what we've both been working on is, normally we'll go out and we'll do a lot of dinking and consistency and grinding related things, but we've been revving up more hand speed related drills, just kind of upping the tempo, trying to get used to, I think both of us trying to play more backhands. It's just one of those things where a lot of people feel like they can do more with their forehand, but in the heat of battle, when you have such a limited amount of time, it seems like the backhand is maybe the shot where you can cover more of those zones or spots on your body. So it's been a lot of fun. That's kind of what we've been playing around with and just trying to harp on those little fine details to just get any slight edge that we can.
Yeah. And Kyle, tell me, has there been anything that you've noticed with honing the focus on one particular area and I guess not being so competitive and more so just trying to focus on, or I guess just trying to stay in the parameters of live situational games that just tie with hand speed? Anything that you've noticed?
So I think as we were playing it out, I think, we would just feed semi-aggressive to each other, both from the kitchen line. And I thought one of the things that we incorporated that worked pretty well is we both kind of went at each other fast. But the moment one of us felt like we were maybe behind in the point, we would try to reset, slow it down. And from there, we would just play the point out live. So we'd start up tempo. When one of us slowed it down, there we would get more tactical. Still look to speed up when we could, but look to kind of vary the speeds a little bit. So I thought that was good. And then one of the things, give credit to you, you really pointed out in my game, my contact point of being maybe a little too close to my body on the backhand side tended to be a little bit more risky. I tended to be late. And so just focus on simplifying, get the hand more out and extended right from the start, maybe not trying to give it as much, but just realizing, less is more. And if that contact point can be out in front and you be nice and strong, get the paddle angle a little bit more down, that goes a long way in winning those exchanges.
It's a game changer for sure. By the way, that was $100.
Yeah. I'll Venmo you.
But I mean, no, I like something that I've noticed with your game. I mean, talk about yesterday, you were getting a little, it's funny how like the hitting zone when you're trying to punch by your body is very small. And the hitting zone, when you have spacing, even if you don't hit it as clean, if you're early and you see it, the hitting zone's a hell of a lot bigger out here than it is in here. So yeah, something that I noticed about your game is that just general consistency was obviously much better. You were able to get the ball down a lot more by getting it here versus here. Like when you were making contact in here, it was a little flimsy. It didn't have as much stick and it was going through me versus this ball has more stick, gets on me earlier and goes where,
Yeah.
And
if it's going down, I mean, what are you going to do? You're probably in a situation where you're going to have to reset and I'm in an advantage,
Right.
So,
and that's it's a prime example of why this stuff works so well. You take into account Lindsey Newman, Riley Newman, Jeff Warnick, when you're fighting people who can get the ball down in hand speed battles, I mean, it's very difficult to speed up from a location that's obviously, down by your knees. So, it's interesting. I mean, getting the point of contact way out in front is like equivalent to moving the grip over and being in full Western and going there. It's the same sort of idea. And like, something I noticed about my own game, I've always been a little insecure about my hands and kind of fluff stuff up around my hands to really make myself solid. But I've always, not fully admitted that I had a problem with my hands. And over the last couple of weeks, obviously we just focused on doing lots of drilling with hand speed and then coming up with fun live situational games that tied with hand speed. And it's funny how when I took out all the drops and took out all the dinking and just primarily focused on my hands, how much better I was able to see the ball, how much bigger the ball got. And then also too, from like this position here, I can punch from there. Then also too, if I want to block, I'm just keeping the paddle still. So there's not a whole lot of baggage going on. It's very simple. But a big thing for me was just general spacing, trust the spacing, get it out in front, and then know that if you do less, not as much can go wrong.
Yeah. And I don't know about for you. I mean, at first it felt a little odd to start with my hands or my arms that far away from my body, but we played some rec games. Obviously, it's your partner, but played some rec games this summer with Riley Newman, and he's known for having just exceptionally fast hands. And I was really watching him closely, and really, I think the thing that sets him apart, among other things, with the grip and his athleticism, but there's really no take back. So he doesn't risk catching the ball late because he keeps it kind of right out in front. And so it definitely feels a little different if that's new for you, but I think it's the way to go to be able to compete with these guys with elite hands.
So if you were to give four little nuggets in the parameters of having better hands, what are those four main nuggets?
I think going in with a plan, I think is really good because based on our grips, we're all going to cover like the zones a little bit different. We've talked about Riley. He's in that full Western. He's going to have different zones for forehand and backhand than you or I might. So I think understanding which spot on your body is either the forehand or backhand in advance, I think is really good to kind of think that out and be prepared for that. I think not winding up is probably really big. If you're ready position, the hands are already outside of your body and already out in front. Just try to resist that urge to take back before you go forward. So eliminate the take back if at all possible. I think keeping the wrist locked is really important.
Squeezing a little bit.
Keeping the wrist more locked and secure, not trying to slap through it or roll it unless you feel like you have enough time to do that. And I think making sure, I mean, it's kind of elementary, but I think making sure that you're getting back to ready position. Or if you're camping on the backhand, stay with that backhand, but be willing to slide to your, I guess for me as a righty, you slide to my right side to cover the spot that would normally be my forehand if I'm going to go with that strategy. So just a couple things that I think about when I'm in those exchanges.
That fourth nugget that you're talking about, sliding to your dominant side. I mean, even though this looks goofy, I think we both agree that it gets the job done. It's funny.
It eliminates the indecision, right? You don't have to choose between forehand or backhand. You're basically staying with that, but that you need to move to the side if you're going to do that.
Yeah. And like a little tip for the viewers here, I guess, don't be afraid to catch some balls in here. Obviously, if you do get jammed and you don't find any spacing, probably a great time to block. If you do get enough spacing and you feel like you're making contact out in front and you have some good spacing, then you can kind of fight that stuff off. But there's still plenty of easy pop in that armpit area if you can get a little spacing and not get jammed.
And you can still get the ball down. You can still roll your knuckles over and get that ball down. Even when it feels awkward and it doesn't look pretty, it can, like you said, it can still get the job done.
Yeah, and when Kyle means roll the knuckles, he means just kind of have the paddle face facing down a little bit. The paddle face doesn't lie, but just make sure that as you're punching that backhand volley, that you're leading with the knuckles and keeping that ready position nice and still. By the way, want to bring this up. My Seahawks just got annihilated on Sunday. God, it was terrible. God, they lost to Buffalo Bills, and I don't know if you watch football at all, but Josh Allen. Yeah, so Josh Allen, I mean, Buffalo was like 6-2 at the time, but Josh Allen in the first half was like 24 for 28, 280 yards, 3 TDs. Literally just made a heyday of our defense.
It's kind of tough in a way being a Seahawk fan right now because Russell Wilson, started off the year, he's playing so great. He obviously, just the kind of, if there's a perfect franchise quarterback, he's close to it. I mean, obviously, great player, just super, awesome person, great leader, positive influence, been our quarterback forever. So they're 6-2. They're looking good, but the defense, I don't know if we've had a defense that's looked this vulnerable for a while. So Russell's having to be more aggressive, with the play calling and throwing more. So you're going to see the occasional bad game where he makes mistakes he doesn't normally do. But pretty rough seeing the defense scorched like that. And even a lot of the wins this year for them.
Yeah, they're barely scraping
escaped.
by. Gosh, yeah. I know. And I mean, Russell's, he's having to throw for 300 to 400 yards, 4 TDs. Granted, there's a lot of money invested into that offense, with the new O-line.
Sure. They have some weapons,
but no, it's tough to see. Yeah, Russ, even like our O-line against Buffalo didn't look good. I mean, Russ got sacked like 4 or 5 times and threw a couple picks. And it's funny how that downhill spiral effect comes trickling pretty quickly. You start getting rushed as a QB. You start thinking you don't have as much time. The ball starts getting out of your hand a little quicker, it's tough, man. It was very, very difficult to watch. I ended up turning the game off in the fourth quarter. I think we ended up losing by 10, but by the way, Russell Wilson makes $35 million a year. What do you do with that money? It's ridiculous. $35 million.
He needs to invest in pickleball. What's he doing?
Dude, you know what's funny?
Sponsor a tournament, Russell. Come on.
It's funny you say that. Wesley Burrows, I was talking about him yesterday.
Yeah.
He lives in LA. He's kind of connected with some higher end people in LA. And you should take a look at his Instagram page. He's got a bunch of videos of playing with, he's like good friends with Sam Querrey, went to Sam Querrey's wedding. And then he's got a video playing pickleball with Russ Wilson.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like in LA. But yeah, his name's Wesley Burrows. Check out his Instagram page. He's got like 2 or 3 videos of playing with Russ. And Russ actually isn't bad.
Was Wes was he a pretty high level tennis player?
You know what? Yeah, I don't know a lot about Wes. Before I speak, I should probably know more about him. No, he's just kind of new to the game. Tennis guy, lives in LA.
He just had a really big win though, just like a week ago or somewhere. You said that him and his partner, who also kind of a guy I didn't know that you're familiar with, they beat Callan Dawson and DJ Young, which is a pretty elite, established team in the pickleball world.
For sure. Want to give a little shout out to Quinn and Wes. That's a good win, gentlemen. Yeah, I actually watched the match last night, and it was blowing it was blowing like 40 miles an hour. And it was like the weirdest match I've ever seen in my life. I'm pretty sure Callan and DJ lost like 80% of the points by missing fourth balls.
That's
literally
wow.
I'll have to check the scores, but it was quick.
Doug?
They lost in 2 and then lost a gain of 15 pretty quick. And I'm not gonna lie, Wes, it was like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Wes and Quinn drove 99% of their thirds, and they were literally just teeing off on thirds. And yeah, it was crazy. Like DJ and Callan just couldn't neutralize the fourth. Literally, it was like time after time. Yes, they were hitting good drives. I'm not going to take credit away from their drives, but you would assume that a high caliber team like that could neutralize the fourth. Yeah, no, it was very interesting to see. But yes, Callan and DJ, obviously, we ended up beating them in the Newport Grand Slam. Very good team, and those guys play together a decent amount. On paper, that kind of surprised me, and I believe that if they played again, I would assume it'd be a much different story. But
if they not taking anything away from them, but if they did win in that fashion, that makes a little bit more sense to me. Just knowing that they're new and seeing kind of that progression just in myself, that I had better results in singles right away coming over to pickleball, and when you can grip it and rip it, that's a little more of a simplified strategy than having to win those long, grueling, grinding points, which you see so much at the pro level. So, without watching the match, I definitely was surprised picturing them, coming out in that style. But if it was, if they were able to just kind of rip through them, that's less surprising, I guess.
Yeah. No, it was, it was, they 1 and 2, and then the gain of 15, and it was under 40 minutes. So that kind of paints a picture of the match, if you know what I mean.
For sure.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to our topics here. So APP versus PPA. So I don't know a whole lot about the APP. I played the Chicago Open. Know Ken Herman very well. I think Ken's a great guy. He's a great guy for the sport. Obviously, he's trying to grow the sport. He's trying to offer more tournaments, and they are working closely with the PPA to make sure things are organized and scheduled correctly and stuff like that. So it's good to see two tour organizations working together and helping grow the sport of pickleball. I think just kind of watching some of the live stream and some of the video production and stuff like that for the APP. Great video production. And it seems like they're having tournaments at great venues and stuff like that. I would assume that the PPA is kind of like accounting themselves as a higher standard or a tour organization, just from like the tournaments that I've played and some of the video production that the PPA has come out with. Obviously, the PPA has ESPN3 as their main sponsor, so all the live stream is on ESPN3. That's obviously a big one, and it just seems like too the PPA they're probably renting out better tennis facilities or nicer venues. Also too, it seems like the PPA has some more corporate money and some more sponsorship money coming in. So kind of looking at it, it kind of seems like the PPA is going to be like the majors of pickleball. The APP is going to be the minors. Obviously, there's contracts taking place. I'm not too sure if there's contracts taking place for the APP, but I just signed a contract with the PPA, so I'll be playing most PPA events come 2021. I know the PPA was looking to lock in the top 4 players. I think, obviously it's great to see, 2 new tours trying to make this thing work. The PPA has, I don't know how much money set aside for the next 5 years, but they are financially sitting very well for the next 4 or 5 years to have enough prize money where they don't need entry fee money, to help promote prize money and stuff like that. But yeah, so no, it's good to see both tours trying to help grow the sport of pickleball, and it's good to see both tours working together.
Yeah. No, I think, and I'm not the most educated on this, so if I misspeak, forgive me. But it seems like they're definitely competing. Both of them want to be seen, especially the PPA. Seems like with the moves they're making, they want to be seen as the main tour or the elite tour with the money that they're putting into it, and I think that's great. I know for me, I've seen different arguments on the forum, but for me, I hope the APP sticks around for a while. I hope there are some other, another tour or some other main events. Now, you're in your contract with the PPA, you're not able to play. There's a certain number of tournaments that you're allowed to play beyond that. Is that correct?
Yeah, right. So I'm just going to keep it hush hush, but yeah, correct. So I would play all the PPAs, and then I would have options to play, let's say 2 to 4 other tournaments.
Gotcha. Well, so I guess the point I'm making is for people like you and Ben and Simone that have been, extremely dominant, Riley, for somebody like myself who's doing the pro thing, when we're spending, money traveling, realistically at these big major events, it's very challenging for people outside that top 4 or 5 elite level to really earn a whole lot of money from the tournaments, from finishing that high. So with having, kind of a side tour or a secondary tour, however you want to look at it, it does really open up the possibility of going further in some of these events for people like myself. There's a multitude, people in that category where, you can look at a tournament and say, hey, it's still going to get some good exposure. It's still going to be well run. They're still going to be streamed. And, I have a shot to podium, or I have a shot to win this thing.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I think both are really good for the sport. And, different people, live in different regions of the country. It's not like all of us have an unlimited fund for travel and all that. So right. I like the fact that there's still some major events that maybe aren't that full on, highest level major elite status. And if Ben, Simone, you, Riley, aren't in every single one of those ones, it just opens up for more people to have the spotlight for a little bit. So I think it's good for pickleball, honestly.
No, it's funny because at the end of the day, there's usually only one winner, and usually that winner it comes down to, let's say, in doubles, 2 to 3 teams, in singles, 1 to 2 people. And I mean, at the end of the day, how many good players are out there that simply just don't get seen because they don't end up on the podium, or they end up 4th or 5th? But now they can play the APP tournaments. They can get on the podium. They can build some sponsorships or build some endorsements through that, and just get like the limelight a little bit. Because I mean, it's true. At the end of the day, I mean, just coming off of this year, like the main faces of the PPA was probably Simone. It was Ben, and then probably myself, Riley. But it's the same core of top 2 or 3 players that kind of get all the limelight, and nobody else gets in there. So I know that if I was in your shoes, and if I was a top 20 guy, and I always kind of felt like I was in that top 10 group, but never got to jump on the podium. I mean, to now have another tour organization where I can play guys, kind of in like that 5 to 20 range, and not have to deal with guys like myself, guys like Riley, Ben. I mean, talk about a huge breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I mean, and even just from a doubles standpoint, right? Regardless if it's mixed or men's or women's, it's so important to have, a partner that's also your caliber as well. So the idea of somebody new coming in and breaking through and beating a you and Riley or a Ben and Matt, not only would they have to be elite themselves, but they're going to have to find someone who also is of that elite caliber to realistically beat you guys ever, or definitely on a consistent basis. So I think it's good for the sport. I know that,
for sure.
People had some strong feelings one way or the other, but I think in general, it's trending the right way if we want to see the sport that we love, played on a bigger stage.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay. So let's move on to tournament schedule for 2021. Looks like the APP just blasted out their schedule. The PPA blasted out their schedule. So everybody should go to pickleballtournaments.com. Take a look at upcoming tournaments for 2021. Also, too, you can go to the PPA's webpage, and then you can also go to the APP's webpage to take a look at everything for next year. But yeah, it looks like the PPA is doing about 14, and then looks like the APP is doing like right around 18. So, awesome. So yeah, I mean, if people don't sign a contract with the PPA, I mean, they can essentially play 30 plus tournaments a year. I mean, that's a full tour. It's a pretty freaking full year. So it was kind of funny. Like this year, Riley and I, had this idea of playing 30 plus tournaments where we're going to travel and do all this stuff. And it's kind of funny what having kids, obviously does to your time and does to your like perspective. But looking at 30 tournaments after I did, let's say 6 or 7 this year, and just looking at my family life, there's no way I could ever play 30. The idea that I even thought that I could play 30 was pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, talk about juggling kids, trying to play tournaments, trying to take care of home stuff. I mean, things of that nature. Honestly, the whole PPA schedule for me and signing a contract with the PPA, not only was it good for me, but it was great for my family, made Meg much more happy, and really just opened up more time where I'm not playing 30 plus tournaments a year. I can have a more, balanced family home, or a more balanced, home life. Teach my 20 camps a year. So I think for me, 15, 16 tournaments a year is probably perfect.
And I think I read something that Simone posted, about signing with the PPA and talking about that balance of, not being able to travel as much and kind of enjoying having around that 15 tournaments a year number, just kind of fit for her, as she's got a couple of younger kids as well. So I think that it makes sense for a lot of reasons. And, pickleball, being a pickleball pro, there's almost always more than just playing the tournaments. I think most people are teaching, and they've got, there's other sponsorships. And so you've got your hands in a lot of things. I think most people do. So being able to prepare for your best at the biggest tournaments is probably, it just seems logical for where you and some of the top people are, with where they're at in life.
No, for sure. I think for myself, and I'm sure, I'm sure like Simone as well, but like when I have back-to-back tournaments, it's so tough for me to recover, and it's tough for me to like perform at my best when I'm on the road and I'm just going from tournament to tournament versus, let's say I have 15 tournaments a year, I can spend 2 or 3 weeks at home working out all the kinks, being in the gym, doing things the right way, showing up to the tournament, feeling like fully refreshed, not bouncing from tournament to tournament. I would much rather do that than just constantly be on the road and live out of a suitcase,
Yeah, different feeling when you're feeling like your tank is full rather than before you start a tournament.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, even just that added like 10% of being a little fresher goes such a long ways,
Agreed.
Let's see. So next topic here. So Kyle, give us your nugget of the week. It can be technique oriented. It could be tactical based. It could be something that you've seen through watching a match, just anything for the viewers that's insightful.
Okay. I've been geeking out for the last couple months on, watching. I'm always a student of the game because I want to see, where is the game going? I'm a strong believer that 5-10 years from now, that the best teams, that the highest level of play will look similar, but a little bit different than how it looks today, just like it looked different 5 or 10 years ago. So I'm big on what I call the short transition zone, the area that's just maybe like 2 or 3 feet back from the kitchen line. So I guess I'll give a tactical nugget, something I've been trying to add in my game, trying to adjust or think about, when am I right up on that kitchen line versus when am I sagged back just a little bit. So generally speaking, if I feel like I'm in control or I'm dinking aggressively, where I'm really trying to move my opponents, I'm going to be right up on that line, reducing the size of their target. But if I ever feel like my opponents are moving me and I have to play a dink that's a little bit more defensive, what we would call a lifting dink, something that has a little bit more arc to it, if the ball's in front of in front of me, the person in front of me, not cross court from me, I'm trying to get in the habit of pretty consistently taking a full big step back and getting in that short transition zone to give myself just a little bit more time to either counterpunch, see the ball better, to block and reset and stay alive in the point, or be able to see the ball well, the shape of the ball a little better, and be able to let some of those attacks go. So I think just getting, always thinking about, do I want to be right up on that line if I'm in control versus if they're in control, just being willing to sag back just a little bit, I think just increases my response as they attack me. So good. I guess that'd be my tactical thing that I've tried to be applying in my game.
I like it. And we've obviously talked about this topic, and someone like myself, who I feel like if I take a step back, I can beat 90% of the field, right? But if I play high caliber hands like a Matt Wright or a Ben Johns or people in that category, I personally feel like if I take a step back, even if I do clock it and get enough on it, since my positioning, is like a step or two back, I'm starting out the hand speed almost like behind, because my court positioning is like a bit more vulnerable. So it's interesting. I feel like against most of the field, I can get away with that. But against Ben and Matt and kind of that caliber, I really have to to hold my ground, keep things out in front, keep that spacing, and just live and die by staying on the kitchen line to a certain degree. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think at that level, which is the highest of the high level, because you guys have been 1 and 2 in a lot of tournaments. You're right. It's a battle of inches. You know, it's a battle of inches and milliseconds. So for you, they obviously know that on the court, if they can attack you and you're sagged back, I think they feel like they're limiting you to just a resetter, right? And they're kind of daring you to swat out of position, which their hands are so good that against them, you may have to, work on holding your ground a little better. And I think that's why we've been working on that extension and maybe doing less with the swing, but having that court position stay up.
Yeah. And I think for viewers that are watching, if you feel like, or if you're uncomfortable with your hands, if you're a little insecure, if you just simply feel like you don't have enough time from the kitchen line, there's nothing wrong with taking a step back. Just think about taking a step back a little sooner. That way you can get established, you can get organized, you can find your legs, and then really kind of get your weight going forward as you look to counter.
It's a great point. You absolutely cannot be stepping back as you're being attacked.
Make that decision early enough.
Back, get your weight loaded, and be ready to move forward if you're going to counterpunch. Absolutely.
Yeah. My little tip of the week. Let's stay talking about hands here. Big thing for me is recognizing that I have enough power out there, and I'm starting to squeeze a bit more, in those hand speed battles. And it's interesting how much better like my precision is with my volley, how much easier it is to get it down, and just how much more control I have with keeping more spacing in here, and then really just being firm with my wrist. It's a pretty simple fix.
So you're making a conscious effort then to grip it a little bit harder than you have in the past, and
just with trying to keep the paddle face like stable and keep the hand positioning still. I think if that whole picture is going to be very, very simple and clean, a little added squeeze, does some good.
Okay.
And it's kind of funny because we will both laugh at this, but we've talked about grip pressure, and obviously, I'm not a big fan of grip pressure. I feel like it's a little secondary from some of the main issues, but in this particular area in my game, grip pressure made a lot of sense with just keeping my hand positioning still,
Right. And it's funny for us. The reason we're laughing is, when Tyson and I first started teaching together, I would talk as I'm teaching people about dinking, about how hard to squeeze the paddle. And, I think one of the first times we taught together, I kind of brought it up in a group setting, and he's like, well, I don't really think about that very much. So it's just two schools of thought on it. But this is one example where I'm getting him on that grip pressure.
Right. Make me a believer.
So while we're geeking out on technical and tactical pickleball stuff, I'll kind of just bring up if we have time. So I've noticed, and like I think I've mentioned before, I'm always like I'm passionate about kind of seeing where the game's going or predicting where it might be a few years from now. And so always looking for teams trying something new, like formation wise. And I've noticed that you and Riley, probably the only team that I see that's really doing this. And obviously conventionally, with pickleball, there'll be one player on one side, one player on the other side. But with you and Riley, at times when you're serving, you will kind of employ more of like the I formation, with you lagging back a little, staying near the baseline, not necessarily rushing to get up to the kitchen line, and Riley disconnecting, staying more up front and looking to poach and be aggressive. Do you just want to talk about
for sure.
Why you guys do that? What kind of the pros and cons of that formation are, and if you see yourself?
Yeah, I mean, viewers out there, I'm sure visually it looks a little goofy with me kind of taking 70% of the court from the baseline to allow Riley to disconnect. But why that is because I have a lot of trust in my drop, and then also too, I feel like Riley probably is one of the best disconnectors in the game, where he can get up there, he can wreak havoc. He's super long. He loves hand speed battles. And so basically
he can move either direction.
Yeah, he can move either direction. I just kind of plug in the hole. I just kind of fill in the gap, from there. But yeah, I think, if we can get some free points and put some pressure on our opponents with, them hitting fourth balls and sixth balls, and having Riley kind of get in their face, we can get some free points. helps take the monkey off our back, allows us to really open up our game style, do some different things, add some more offense in. So we kind of feel like, if we can get 2 or 3 freebies a game in, whether it's a shake and bake setting or just any sort of setting where I'm dropping or driving and he's disconnecting, then it just allows us to do some more offensive things with our game and not have to grind as much and not have to play the route of just being super, super safe and just putting balls in play. And at the end of the day too, I'm putting Riley in a position where that's his main strength. His main strength is I'm sure you've seen him play mixed with his sister. The guy, she drops or drives, he takes over the whole court. And then if he's not able to poach, she just kind of slowly, comes in,
kind of fills in the gap a little bit. Yeah.
So there's.
Well, I think we're going to see a little bit more of more kamikaze or extreme styles like that with something similar. I mean, because if you think about just the difference between singles and doubles with pickleball, the court's the same size, right? So if you watch elite singles players like you and Ben, you're covering the whole court very well anyways, and you're very accurate to either side on the move. So I just feel like there's a lot of guys that can stay alive, even if they're on the defensive, and still get that ball and drop it near the kitchen or drive and just so it's a different look, and it's exciting for me to see teams start to employ some of those, and I hope you guys do it more, because I think it's very effective and it just adds variety. I think we all know how effective you guys are as a team once you're up at the kitchen line and how comfortable you are with dinking and in those exchanges, but before you even get there, there's a way to win, like you said, some free points too. So it's fun to watch and definitely different than what other teams are doing.
Yeah, and I think it's a true tell that we probably have more offense from the baseline than we do the kitchen line. Take a look at Adam and Deckel, and it's the same idea. They drive probably 80% of their third balls. One of them disconnects, and then once they get to the kitchen line, they are probably true counterattackers. So it's funny how you can
just get into grind mode.
Yeah. So you can almost like employ your offense from the baseline to try to get some free points. And obviously if you're not able to get a free point, that's fine. Then you slowly work your way up, and then you're at equal,
It takes a lot longer. I think you probably agree with this. It takes a lot longer to develop offense or to be able to initiate offense from the kitchen line when all 4 people are established. You're often having to wait for the right ball. You usually need to dink maybe aggressively enough to earn the type of ball that you maybe can attack. So I think for high-level tennis players coming in who want to be effective right away in pro-level doubles, I think the strategy of ripping the third and then getting to the kitchen line, and then from there just being an exceptional dinker or counterpuncher is a recipe.
Goes a long way.
I see a lot of teams winning a lot of matches doing that.
Yeah. And it just comes to show too, there's not one way to win. I mean, there's so many different ways to play this game, whether you want to play soft from the baseline and then come in and be super offensive from the kitchen line, or you want to, try to be super offensive from the baseline, and try to get some free points. And then obviously if you're not able to, just be true counterattackers from the kitchen line.
Yeah.
Take a look at, Wes and Quinn this last weekend against DJ and Callan. I mean, it's a prime example. They won, at least 80% of their points just by a drive and close combo. That's a pretty simple day if you can win all your points through that.
Right. No, and that play works better because I did that in Chicago with Rafa. I was injured. It kind of hurt to move, but I could rip the forehand without any pain. So it was really windy, and him and I actually got a couple of good wins just playing completely kind of kamikaze, ripping the ball and crashing every time. And when the conditions are rough, it's a little tougher to stick that first volley and to play slower. So sometimes you can adjust your strategy based on the conditions a little bit too. Yeah.
No, I mean, trying to stick a volley that's being hit at me from Adam as Deckel's trying to poach, and I see this big 6'4" giant in front of me as I'm dealing with a ball and it's windy. No, it's a tough scenario.
You can feel your target just reducing, and then the ball's knuckling on its way to
you. Yeah. Tip for the viewers. Yeah. I mean, don't be afraid to drive away when it's windy, and then use that shake and bake combo off the drive. Because plain and simple, it is very difficult to hit a fourth ball when the ball is moving and it's windy. And then especially if your opponent's up and closing and trying to poach off of that, you know, you have,
well, especially if you're driving into the wind too, because, you know, more room for error of the wind bringing it down. And then their first volley, the tendency for that to float if they're going with the wind. So I definitely a good wind tip of if you're against it and it's pretty bad, if you have a decent drive, I would definitely recommend driving more than dropping if you're against the wind on one of those miserably windy days.
Yeah. And Kyle, tell the viewers here, if you've lost your drop, let's say, you know, you've missed 2 or 3 drops in a row, are you going to continue dropping, or are you going to rev it up to find your drop later?
Yeah, for me, and we talked about this. You teach don't lose the same way. For me, you know, if that part of my game is just off, rather than be stubborn and just say, well, this is the only way, I better find it. You know, I'm definitely going to drive or go away from it temporarily just to change momentum, to give it another look. I might not, you know, give up on it for the whole match, but I think we can all sense when we're feeling a particular shot where not just do we miss it, but it feels off or the feeling is a little wrong. If there's a way to hide that for a little while, I'm definitely in the camp of that's the right way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with going to a plan B and driving away. And it's funny how once you find your drive, how it almost brings your drop back. You know, you just take a little pressure off your drop, you push it out of your head for a little bit, drive away. If you can get some free points, great. But if not, it just simply, you know, gives you some more confidence with your drop later on.
Well, I think for me, even like sometimes if I'm feeling tense, sometimes I'll throw a calculated drive in there just to release some of that tension from my body a little bit, because so much of doubles is being patient and, you know, and feel and touch. And in those pressure moments, when you've got that pressure built up in your body, at least for me, I like to allow myself to be a little more athletic with the serve and the drive, just to kind of release some of that and kind
get
of
it out.
Feeling good again.
You know, for
Get
sure.
it out.
Get it out. So when you say calculated drive, you mean like that 40 to 60% drive that is probably placed well, gets down, but you're not overhitting, right?
Yeah. So aim for a bigger target. Obviously, you can't go exceptionally high for net clearance, but you don't need to go 1 or 2 inches over the net either in doubles. I think something in that couple foot pocket. And then for me, it's really, I'm not hitting it with the intent of saying, okay, you're going to miss this volley or I'm going to hit a winner, but just kind of looking at it as an alternate path to neutralize, expecting to get a volley that maybe lands more in the middle of the court, something that I can maybe makes my 5th shot drop maybe a little easier than a 3rd shot drop because it's maybe shorter in the court. So that's what I mean when I'm saying calculated, not necessarily expecting to win it right there, but thinking about using it as a different way to get up and neutralize and get to the kitchen line.
The old drive drop combo, baby. Hey, if you can hit the drive and it can enhance your 5th, why the heck not, huh?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, so real quick, I'm going to talk about my social media giveaway here. So everybody should check this out. You can look at this post on my Instagram page or on my Facebook page at Tyson McGuffin Pickleball. But the giveaway includes, I'm going to be giving away 2 packages. It includes 1 signature gold Invicta paddle, a TM blend t-shirt, a 10-pack of Turner grips with my lovely face on it, 2 1044 Pro bars, 2 sample tubes of Voodoo Pain Relief Cream, 2 sample waters from ASEA, Pickle Play stickers, 1 pair of stance socks, and a free 2-day TMPB camp in 2021 that has a value of $5.99. That is a deal. Hottest deal on social media right now. Hottest deal. So how to enter. Follow my new business page at Tyson McGuffin Signature PB Cants on Instagram and on Facebook. Like the post and be sure to subscribe to my website by going to TysonMcGuffin.com.
So just to clarify, Tyson, am I excluded from this?
It's not for you, buddy. It's not for you.
All right. Okay. I want to try some ASEA. I want to get my hands on figuring out why you have to change shirts 6 times.
Yeah, I know, right? It's those clean pores. So giveaway is going through Monday, November 16th. I'm going to be announcing the winner that evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So make sure you guys check out my new business page, subscribe to my website, and enter in that contest. So yeah, lots of cool stuff in there. Basically, it's like a full package of different items from all my sponsors. So definitely.
Well, yeah, that's pretty cool. I know that, when most people do one of these giveaways, it's like, a paddle or a shirt or one thing. It's kind of cool that you're giving them a nice little cocktail of
heck yeah,
the whole McGuffin sponsor experience. That's pretty cool.
Right. People deserve it. Okay, and then also too in 2021, we have some new camp dates coming up. We're going to be teaching 4 camps at different chicken and pickle locations, so kind of cool. So make sure that you guys go to my website, go to TysonMcGuffin.com and check out those camps for 2021. Kyle, anything else here for us?
I think that was my notes. I think that was about it for me.
Okay.
Unless you had anything else on the agenda.
No, I'm cool, brother. I'm gonna play out in the snow with the kids today, and I gotta take my little man back to Moses Lake, take him to his mom's, and
Nice.
other than that, just getting geared up. I'm leaving for Atlanta on Thursday, flying to Atlanta for a camp, and then heading over to Myrtle Beach for a couple days, and then back home for Thanksgiving, and then heading to Newport, and then we'll be in Newport for a week after the tournament. Anybody who's looking to play a tournament, check out the Newport Beach tournament, December 4th to the 6th. It is gender doubles and mixed doubles. It's open to all ages and all levels. And then also to the week following, Kyle and I will be in Newport running 3 2-day camps all back to back. And then we are tying in a little tournament on that Sunday. So
yeah, excited.
Excited. A nice little week and a half by the ocean and, hanging out in Newport. So it'll be nice.
Yeah, we'll try not to work too hard, right?
Yeah. Somebody's got to do it.
So for me, actually, tomorrow morning, leaving with the family, we're going to Idaho Falls, and we're going to play the Idaho Falls tournament there. Keep me in your best wishes. This will be my wife Callie and I. We train together. I do coaching with her, and it all goes well. But traditionally, when we play together, I don't know what it is. Maybe a few married couples can relate, but definitely tougher to play together. So this is one we signed up for 6 months ago, and we thought it was going to be a pretty small event, so we figured, we'll just enter the 5-0s. It opens. It probably won't be too bad, but a lot more pretty established pros have entered it lately. So we're going to be pretty disadvantaged, but our goal is just going to be to have fun and get along and maybe even stay married.
You are a patient man, or she is a patient lady. One of the two.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be my most patient self. And we're both very competitive. So we're just going to focus on having fun. And
you guys aren't competitive.
No, we're not competitive at all.
Stop it. Well, hey, wish you the best of luck. And,
thanks, man.
Yeah, I've honestly never been down to Idaho Falls, so I have no idea where that's at. Is that south? South of Coeur d'Alene?
I'm not even positive where it's at.
You guys driving?
Idaho. I drove through there, but I've never really spent much time hanging out there, so it'll be a first for me too.
Okay. Last little thing here. Want to thank all of our sponsors. Selkirk Sport, Voodoo Pain Relief Cream, Beamer Therapy, 1044 Pro, Played Like a Pro, Life Like a Pro, Jolt Therapy, ASEA, Turn a Pickleball, Pickle Play, Salt Stick, Stance, and Vitamin Drip CDA. Kyle, thanks, my man.
Yeah, have a good one, man.
Take care, brother.